Okay, so we're now demoing the Phonology Assistant program, and in particular, we're demoing issues that have been completed as part of the charter of the Phonology Assistant upgrade. First on the list, James and Manjula will be demoing the ability to access fields in Flex, such as plural and surface, basically custom fields in Flex. So I'll turn the floor over to either Manjula or James, whoever wants to take the demo part, and I'll change them to be presenter.
Yes, correct. Manjula will give demo on adding the custom fields.
Okay.
Yeah, you get ready for the demo. Right? 1 minute.
Okay.
Correct, Manjula for that demo. Meantime, I want to give demo for two things, correct. Ability to add multiple databases for analysis view and applying not keyword search pattern.
Okay. So James, are you going to do the demo?
Yes, correct. Just I want to give demo on adding multiple databases.
Okay. So you will share your screen.
Yes, correct. I'm trying to share my screen.
Okay. Oh. So for now, I'm waiting for you to be ready to share your screen. Okay.
Excuse me.
Now, can you view my screen, correct?
1 second. I'm seeing your icon, but not your screen yet.
See. Enter.
Is it your screen? There, that's better.
Your view screen. Yes, correct. First, I want to show. I want to give demo on how to select multiple databases. Here, I am using ICFOSO database. First, already I have selected one data source. You can see here project settings. So already I have selected one data sources. So now I am going to add another data source. Now we added another data sources. When you add data source, by default phonetic shows will be lexeme form, but we can select. Uh, why I'm going to change for phonetic shows means already existing database having phonetic shows lexeme form. So new database should be set with another phonetic source. So now I am going to choose first pronunciation only field. I am going to select. So now we have two data sources. So we can differentiate through the phonetic source. Now 2288 records are there for first data source. Now PA adding the second data source. And we can see here newly we have added phonetic shows. Actually, it will sources which this rows belongs to which data source. So second data source still loading. Yeah. Now we can see the change of loading record. Now I want to delete this one. Now you can see total number of records. It shows 4,576 records are available because we have two databases. Now you can see so few rows having the phonetic source is lexeme form, another set of data source having pronunciation fields. So this is a way, Greg. We can add more any number of data sources we can add by phonetic shows the field will like we user can differentiate which this data source based on which phonetic source. And the data corpus also we can see which rows belongs to which database, Greg. So this is a feature I am explaining about the adding the multiple data source.
Yes.
This is a one thing, Greg. Now I said about PA 1205 1226. So adding ability to multiple data source. Now I am going to explain about handling the not keyword in search pattern.
Okay.
So in second tab in search pattern, I am going to apply this simple search pattern. Now you can see 33 records, which rows having the PL anywhere in that phonetic. So now I am going to apply not keyword before the PL. So which phonetic uh, don't contains the PL. So now you can see the record. It will show the record apart from the all the PLs.
Yes.
So we can apply in beginning of the search pattern, or we can apply the not here also. So here, so now PL should not start with start. So you can see Greg, actually the phonetic having the PL, but in between the entries. So this is the usage of not keyword in pattern Greg. We can apply that not anywhere in that segment.
Okay. Good.
So this is the two things I accomplished Greg as individual person, and in few features Karthik and Manjula also helped to show here. Here adding the phonetic shows this thing Karthik helped me to achieve this one, and the data corpus showing phonetic shows completed by Manjula Greg.
Okay. Good.
So
Yes,
yes,
that was
next.
one of the complicated parts of it, is that any one feature was not completed by one team member, but it was really completed by the whole team in different parts of it. So, Colleen, do you have any questions about either one of these features?
So, sorry, I had to turn my mic back on. So I'm wondering now if one of the implications of the ability to be able to have more than one phonetic source is that we can now do searches on orthography.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could do it. You can search on any field that's in the vernacular, I think, is what we set it up. So you're not allowed to search, for example, on analysis fields or that would be in English or French or one of the analysis writing systems,
Okay.
but
But
any of the fields that are
any of
in
the
the
fields.
vernacular.
Okay.
Here
And
vernacular lists are there.
that's the list of fields you're allowed to choose. Allomorphs, citation form, complex form, etymology, lexeme form, variants.
Okay. Good. I think that will be good.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, I, as far as I can imagine.
Yeah, and also if they add custom fields that are in the vernacular, those custom fields will show up on that list.
Okay.
So, for example, if you added plural as a custom field and you put it in the vernacular, it will show up in this list.
It doesn't have to be. Oh, I guess it would have to be in a Unicode compliant
Oh, of course.
font. Yes,
Yeah, of
that's
course.
the thing. Yes, but as
Because
long as
all
even
FieldWorks is in that way.
exactly, it doesn't have to necessarily be an IPA, but it has to be in a Unicode compliant. Okay, that
Yes.
should be just fine. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Yes, Greg. Now Manjula is ready to give demo to access the custom fields. Greg.
Okay.
Manjula will Greg, give demo. Greg.
Okay, I'll switch the presenter to Manjula.
Yes, Greg.
Actually, can you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, in this I'm going to explain about how to add custom field in our projects. Actually, I have choose Spanish project here. In the Spanish project, there are custom fields like tones, surface, plurals is there. Plural is just a custom field here. Once your project you added in the data source, all the custom fields will be encapsulated inside this drop down. So while we select this custom field in the properties, if you go to the properties and select which field we want. It's plural. What are the custom fields we have? If we see this in this drop down, we can select it and give OK. It will be added in the data corpus. Plural. Since this project doesn't have an entry for the plural, it has a minimum number of entries for the plural. It shows one entry here. In this project, for this entry alone, they have added a custom value for the plural type. So we can able to see that. If you want to hide this column, you can go to the tools and select option, and whatever custom field we have implemented in the project setting, it will come inside this column display options. So in this, if you uncheck and check, you can able to hide and show the particular column in the data corpus. So now if I want to hide it, I will just uncheck it and give OK. This plural will be hidden from the data corpus. So if you want to again show it off, you can just select it and give OK. You can see the plural. I'll give another example with another project which has an n number of custom fields. So now I'm going to choose Ecoso project here. I think Ecoso has a many number of custom fields. So it will be easy that we can able to view all the custom. So my Ecoso project is getting loaded. So initially, the project will be loaded with the standard columns, standard fields. Once I go to project settings and inside the properties, and then I go to the fields. In my field drop down, I will get all my custom fields loaded here. For this project, surface tone type, stem syllable type, and all is the custom field. So if I want my surface tone temp to be added in my data corpus list, I just select this field and give OK. My project is getting loaded. So the surface tone type column is added here. So I think for this project, the custom field, surface tone temp has the values, and most of the values are there for the custom field. So like this, we can add custom fields to our project by selecting it inside the project settings. So what and all custom fields are related to that particular project, it will get added into this project setting columns. So it's a dynamic loader. So based on the project's particular custom fields are added inside this fields. So I think this is about the custom fields. Then, as James told, we have implemented phonetic source also here, phonetic source column here. In case if we have more than two projects, we can able to view the source, whether it is a particular phonetic came from the lexeme form or it is from the pronunciation field. We can able. Example, I'm going to add another project, same so sorry, another data source, and this data source is going to have phonetics. Sorry, it's getting somewhere
Sorry,
deeper. Sorry, it's getting deeper.
it's going into messages.
Yeah.
Oh, on yours it doesn't work. It works on
Yeah, I
James'
think I
computer.
have to pick the latest data source.
The same thing I explained already.
Yes, it worked on James' computer. I think I'm not sure you're run. Are you running three? Yeah, you
Yeah, I think I have the
old
old
version.
data
Yes, yes, yes.
seems.
Yeah, because the new version is 3.5.0. That's 3.4.9.
So the same like that. If you in that if you give pronunciation field, this particular column will have the pronunciation field over there. So in
Yes,
case if the particular thing works, this phonetic source column will distinguish the entries based on this value in the phonetic source. It will show pronunciation field as a column if the particular phonetic is getting data from pronunciation field. So I think I had an old version, so it got somewhere wrong there. So I will go on to search two or more expressions. I'm going to explain about the task search two or more expression, which is the task number 1155. So search two or more expression is, yeah, actually there is a condition where if we want to search a plosive followed by a vowel and followed by a trill or lateral, or there is another condition where plosive followed by not vowel, instead the third one trill and lateral means we can use a brace here. If we do this, are you able to see the yellow mark line is getting traced based on the search. In this condition, they are searching plosive and trill or lateral. Here, plosive followed by a vowel and then trill or lateral. So, the two conditions are searched with this. So, if we have an expression like something followed by another condition and we have an or condition, we have to separate it by a brace like this. So two conditions should be separated by a brace, then only it will works in the or expression will be worked here. I'll take a simple example. This is like there is search with a P starting and followed by an L, or we want a search with P starting followed by an R. You can give it PL inside a brace, comma PR inside a brace, and then a brace which is telling that this is an OR condition. This flower brace is for telling an OR condition, and this brace is to tell that these PL and P are the separate or the separate operand inside an OR condition. That's it. So, do you have any questions, Grit?
yes, Colleen. I don't know if you have any questions you want to cover about these two demonstrations. One is about adding custom fields, and the second one is about using two or more or expressions.
I think that the adding the custom fields is clear about how that's done and everything. Um, I I mean, I think I personally understand how this or expression works. I like seeing this last example here, and in fact, what I'm thinking too is that it would be able to I could just put classes in these parentheses here. It would appear like I could have plosive followed by or consonant followed by an L or something like that. C followed by L, C follow a comma C followed by R. Without this if I
You
because
need to have a constant instead of a vowel.
Or
Is it
I don't know if you have it running on your computer. You want to
me
send us something? Yeah.
no I don't have it up.
Okay.
I was just thinking out loud, seeing how simple that the other expression was, the one the PL and the PR one.
Yes.
That would be something that could be easily be tailored by people.
Right.
C like this one?
Yes. Adding that one,
Yeah, instead of the P, then
or
you
yeah,
have a
instead of the
C
P. So leave the L. Yeah. Get rid of the
P
P and just put consonant followed by
by
L and
L and then
consonant
consonant
followed
followed
by
by
R.
R.
It should also work, right?
I'm
Like
hoping.
this.
Yeah,
Like
it should. Yeah, I'd like to see.
is it a, is it
Yes,
right?
like that.
Yeah,
Try that
like
one.
that.
Yeah, that's also works. See. So B is a constant here
Exactly.
and followed by an L.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
very nice
we were
because I'm thinking about the that for some people are not going to be very sophisticated enough to be able to write the more longer rules, but something like this is very somebody knows they want to search for L's and R's, right? And after all the consonants, I mean, this is really nice.
right. Yeah. And so that one you can see Manjula is showing us we have V followed by L or this one
A
followed by
consonant followed by a L or an R.
any consonant, right? Followed by L or
Yeah,
R.
in consonant. That is, you'll be able to see here T, B, these things in consonants followed by an R here. And we are also on a consonant followed by an N here. So all the cases matching T, L, C, R. Consonant followed by L, consonant followed by R is such.
And I think Manjula, could you also take the consonant out of the or expression and just put the consonant
L and
before it, and then have the or expression just be around the L and R? Is
yeah,
possible.
like
Yeah.
this.
Or outside the consonant would go outside the curly brace, right?
So
Would
in that
come,
case, we have to give in like this.
yes, like that.
Yeah, like this.
And that would be
This.
just with the
So
And that
this
would
would
be another way, which should give
another way.
the same results.
mhm.
So only the OR condition should come inside the flower bracket. Since C is a fixed one, it doesn't need a OR condition. We are putting the C outside of the flower bracket. Are we able to
So,
see this?
yes, we can see it, I think. Can you see it,
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes, it's it's nice. Be able that we can teach people to write very simple rules then
Yes.
using the or condition. That's good.
Okay, I think
Good. Thank you, Manjula.
Karthi will be explaining the task related to one.
Okay, I'll switch the presenter to Karthik. Okay, Karthik, right now I'm not hearing you. How is your mic? Oh, it's still very quiet. Can you do it a little louder?
Can you hear me, Greg?
Yes.
Fine. Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
Greg. I want to show you a demo on distribution charts, Greg. First.
good.
Okay. For a couple of days, we are working on PA for adding distribution chart features. I want to list you some of the features we added for this task. Uh, First one, the user want to rearrange the chart based on the view. So we fixed on rearranging. Just I'm clicking the second row to the this one. Also, I'm changing the row. So based on the moment that values are rearranged,
Yes. Very nice.
and also user want to save this chart for the future reference. So I'm going to save this one. When I move to X variables, again back to X consonants, you can see the positions are saved.
Good.
And next in, they also want to delete the row or column by simple way. So there is a two way to delete the row or column. Just click and right click the delete row or delete column. The shortcut key also there provided. If you
Okay,
want to delete
yes.
means just delete row. So they removed. So we can also delete column to save. So the rows and columns are deleted.
Yes.
And also you can delete by shortcut keys. Alt R. I'm pressing Alt R. Removed. And this also Alt O. I mean, again I'm saying this option.
Yes.
So these are these features added for the distribution charts. And also one more option user requires this when I click the double click the value, it goes to the search view
Okay,
like consonant and vowel chart. So I'm using the 5 to 5, double click the 5 to 5, it moves to the search window with the values, rows and column value.
good.
uh, this is the features we added for the distributed charts grid.
Yes.
Any questions?
Yeah, let's ask Colleen. Colleen, what do you say? Do you have any questions about this feature, about what we've done with the distribution charts?
Yeah,
Of course.
I do actually.
Okay, good.
Let's see, I'm not seeing. Okay, I can talk and see at the same time. All right, good. In terms of the deleting of rows and columns, I like the Alt O. That's been. Oops. Maybe you couldn't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
You're
yes, I
better
can.
now.
Yeah, I had my speakerphone up, the lever up above my head. So here we go. Yeah, I was saying that I like what you've done with the shortcuts. That's nice. Alt R, Alt O. Excuse me. I had one question. We had talked about when we save the changes,
Yes.
you know, we that we didn't end up messing up any kind of default settings by saving, and then the default settings would no longer be there.
Okay.
Is that still the case?
So, Karthik, her question is it possible to go back now to what the original chart was for the ones that are we are shipping with the program?
You have an option for save as option, Greg.
Okay.
If I
So
am doing, yes,
so we have the option to save it as a new name. Is that what you were
yes, Greg.
asking?
Yes,
Who, me?
Yes.
Okay, I just want, because let's say somebody made a mistake
Okay.
and a row gets deleted, and they say, oh, I didn't mean to delete that row.
Okay. So sure, her question is there any way to undo or to go back to what was originally shipped with the program for the chart, for these charts that the ones that, because these example charts and the rhyme, onset, nucleus, coda, these ones are shipping with the program. Is there any way, if they've been saved, to go back to what they were before?
rollback is not possible, Greg.
Okay.
So we have to make it as a copy or something and do what we need to change.
Okay. 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 Yeah, I guess we missed that feature, Colleen. We allowed them to save it even if it was one of the ones that's shipping with the program. Of course, they can save it as a new name, which is something they can be taught to do. But if they save it under the original name, it will replace the original one. Of course, if you recreate the project, since all of this is, the Fieldworks project is not being changed, right? We're only changing the Phonology Assistant project. So if the user creates a new project, all of the charts will go back to their original default settings. But apart from kind of going and creating a new Phonology Assistant project, there's no easy way to go back yet. I mean, that would have to be added if we wanted to put that in as another feature.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed a large part of that because I suddenly had problems with my microphone.
Okay.
But I guess the thing that we had originally talked about was, the once you've made changes and then you do save,
It should
then
give it a new name, right?
yes, you should give it a new name.
And it can
Because
do that. We can do a save as. If the user tells us to give it a new name, we will give it
yes.
a new name.
Okay,
Um,
so anyway, so what I guess the thing is if it just by clicking just the save button there, right? I mean, when you don't have the list down, the automatic thing is save, isn't it?
yes.
And so people, if they click save and then they go, oh, I didn't mean to delete that row, it's too bad. They have to start all over again.
They have to start with a new project if they want to go back.
A brand new project.
Well, I mean, there are other ways, but the easiest way is to start with the new project, probably.
Ugh,
Um,
that's a costly mistake.
yeah. So, of course, they can save it under a new name, but if they chose to save it under the same old name, then it will overwrite the one that's there. Um,
Yeah.
so the because the charter basically wasn't very clear. I remember what you're saying. We did say we wanted to try to preserve the original ones, but the charter says make it easier to change and rearrange the distribution charts. We've made it really easy.
Yeah. Yes. Hmm.
So, okay, I think what I'll do is I'll make a note of this, and if we do more, if there are other work we do, for on this project, this is one of the things that we will try to do is we will block the save for ones that have been shipped with the program.
I think we need to be careful because I'm just thinking of my students and who who don't have a deep enough understanding of the implications of certain things, that they'll use this, they'll just click on that save icon, and then and people make mistakes all the time, and then boof, they have to start over from scratch just because of one little mistake. So I'm sorry that wasn't clear beforehand.
Yeah. I
I
guess
mean,
the other alternative.
I thought we had discussed that code,
Right, we
but
did. I'm just not sure it's written clearly in the issue we gave to
mm,
Karthik to work on.
that's too bad. I'm sorry.
But if we we have two options actually of how to do this. One is to prevent save from working on items that are shipped with the program. Another is we could provide another feature where we could reset the chart back to its original value.
Okay.
Either way, we can do
Yeah.
it either way.
Reset. That's excellent.
So
Okay.
we could add another item to the save dropdown, which would just reset the chart to its original value. In which case, all we have to do is go back to the folder that's shipping with the program and copy this part of the XML, because this is saved in an XML file, this chart,
Yes, correct.
and we can copy this this node from the XML chart into their project again and have a reset button for that particular chart. So this would be another way to handle it.
I like this. I like this because what it's saying also to the user is you really need to think through what you're doing.
Right.
You can go ahead and willy-nilly save things. That's fine, but you know if the other option is really severe. You have to start your project all over again.
Right, that's the
So,
other alternative, is to start over again with the project. If
so
you create a new project and open your database again, it will set all of the charts back to their original values,
and
not
that would
just
not
that one.
and that's really costly. So I think this whole I think the reset is a good option if it's not too difficult to add that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put that as a feature. I'll create a
And that would be the
feature
resetting of
request.
that one specific
Whichever chart you're looking
chart.
at.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
Okay. Thank you, Karthik. Um, uh, were you going to demo another one?
Yes,
I need
Kiran.
to prepare for the. I had to prepare for the second demo group. Meanwhile, Sanas will show the demo group.
Okay. Okay. Samdas is going to show demo, so I'll switch Samdas to the presenter.
Okay, great. So, shall I start, Greg?
Yes, I can see your screen, I think.
Okay, great. So I am choosing a project called BARK Grail. So that so we add a tool. We add a feature or similar environment like minimal pass. So we added in the menu and the toolbar. So this is a new feature. So I take the -8 here. I take.
Okay.
So if you click on similar environment, it will be grouping with the phonetics pattern.
Yes.
So if you uncheck this one, it again ungroup it.
Okay.
So same way we use minimal pass, right? So this will be added in this feature grid.
It's like shortcut key also there for control E to grouping and ungroup.
Okay.
This is one feature. And then for plus ATR and minus ATR, the task number is ability to search for long distance phonetic patterns such as harmony, vowel, consonant, nasal, etc. So this is the task plus ATR minus ATR. For that so this is minus ATR, this is for plus ATR. So in minus ATR totally 2262 records, and plus ATR it's having 4 records. So if we introduce the symbol like this, tilt symbol, we introduce the tilt symbol, this will go ungroup, so it will list totally 2266 records totally now, adding the plus ATR and minus ATR. So this feature is added in this PA. And then one more is filtering. So in the filter we added the plus ATR minus ATR. So field is phonetic and operators matches. So it's this ATR star underscore star. This is a phonetic search button. If I click OK and apply this filter, means it will list 4 records. If you search in the plus ATR, it will show the result. In minus ATR, it won't show the result because it is filtering all things. So this will be added in this feature also. That's all, Greg.
Okay. So, yeah, just to give a little further explanation to what Samdas has just said. So you can use the filter to filter for all the entries, for example, that have minus ATR. And then you can use the search to find any entries that have plus ATR. So if you're trying to look for harmony, in other words, all of the ATR values should be the same. This will identify entries where there is not harmony. The plus ATR and minus ATR could be anywhere in the pronunciation. So this gives you some ability to search for more long distance phonetic features that aren't next to each other inside the phonetic pattern. So yeah, that's one of those features. I don't know, Colleen, do you have any more questions or clarifications about these issues?
Yeah, I just want, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I just wanted to say that I'm having a difficulty actually seeing these data, the difference between the plus and the minus ATR vowels. I see with what I'm looking at right now appears to be all minus ATR vowels. Like these eyes don't have any, are just regular eyes with a dot on them. I can't see any diacritic underneath them. Is there a diacritic underneath the eye?
No, because we're looking at minus ATR. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, but what's differentiating the minus ATR and the plus ATR vowels in this language?
Okay, click on the plus ATR filter. So the plus ATR vowels, there is a diacritic under the plus ATR vowels.
And there's only, how do we know this is ATR that we're dealing with?
The linguist has marked it.
The linguist has marked it as ATR?
Yes.
Okay.
So if he clicks on those items in there,
Okay.
in the phonetic or the distinctive feature inventory, you'll see that the ATR value is marked as plus for
Okay.
that particular symbol.
Okay. Okay. I have just one other question then. If we're looking for long distance long distance whatever. But is it possible for the we've got this yellow stripe here in the data, right?
Yes.
Does that yellow stripe only targets one segment, isn't it, at a time? It's like you couldn't have like a stripe that, say, like if you had a 3-syllable word and you had 2 instances out of 3, it wouldn't target both 2 of the 3 vowels, isn't it?
No, the yellow stripe wouldn't, but you can use the filters in combination with the search to do. So what you do first is you filter for one part of what you're looking for, which then reduces the data so that you're actually only looking at that part, and then you search for the other part. Does that make sense?
I guess I'd have to
So,
see. I guess I'd have to see.
so in other words, if you're trying to see if you have harmony for ATR, you search for either plus or minus ATR. It doesn't matter. That will reduce the entries to entries that contain at least one case of plus ATR or minus ATR. Let's just say plus. And then you search for minus ATR. So now you're only looking in entries that you know have a plus ATR. If you also find a minus, then you're showing entries that do not have harmony.
Okay. So this function is basically is revealing cases where we don't have harmony.
Where you don't have harmony, right?
Okay.
If you were trying to study harmony, you can see cases which do not have it.
Okay. And what is this symbol that was introduced? I really can't see it.
So the symbol that was introduced is kind of like an alpha.
Okay.
It's a
Oh,
symbol
it's
that
the alpha symbol. Okay.
it's the alpha symbol, and the idea was to use the alpha symbol so that you could make it say make the rule. As you can see in some of the rules he's written there, the alpha would whatever it meant for the first time, it would also mean the same thing the second time. So if you
Can
said, oh well, alpha ATR in the environment of alpha ATR, that's saying that the two segments next to each other should have the same ATR value.
Okay.
Or if you use a morpheme boundary, yeah, there you can see alpha ATR followed by alpha ATR, which should mean that the same ATR value is held by both either plus or minus, right? So you could do a separate search for plus and a separate search for minus, but the alpha allows you to search kind of for both at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So anytime that you have the same value of ATR,
Right.
you're looking
Yeah.
for the same. So now we can actually do both. We can search for instances where we have a minus ATR. We're searching on the plus ATR val, and it will show instances where there's a minus ATR with it. And then with this alpha one, we're searching for the same ATR value within a particular environment that we introduce.
Right. And if you combine it with not, you can even look for opposite ATR values with this too.
Okay. Nice.
You know,
Yeah, that's
so
very nice. It's very nice. I think people will find that useful.
Instead of not, we can also have a minus alpha over there. If you want to search an opposite one.
you can also put minus. Okay, yeah, because one of the requests from Larry, I think, was to say alpha ATR in the environment of minus alpha ATR, which meant the opposite of the ATR value.
Right. Right. That's a more general expression, so that you would get all the cases, not just only plus ATR within this environment, or only minus ATR, but you would get anything, and then the opposite of it on the other side.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very useful. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay. Thank you, Samdas. Do we have one more demo, or how many more demo?
Yes.
One more? Okay.
Yeah. I have another demo with problem with ambiguous sequence.
Okay. So let me
So we will,
switch.
so I'm going to explain how we are going to use ambiguous sequence. Can you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I took one project. In this, there is a phonetic field having A colon I. So in this, we are going to, if you want to consider this A I as one phoneme form, we can instruct it in ambiguous sequence. In this, I have instructed sequence as A colon I to consider it as a I, which is a base character here. So when we go view vowel chart, this A and will combine and will show it as single in the vowel chart. So since this project have a A colon I in the phonetic form, now I'm going to switch it to the pronunciation type. In the pronunciation, instead of the A colon I alone, there is a tie bar over the phonetic. Can you able to see the tie bar here?
Yes.
So this ambiguous sequence have a functionality that in case a particular phonetic have a tie bar, it will automatically generate an ambiguous sequence. In this example, as you see, the second row is automatically generated. So whenever there is a top tie bar or a bottom tie bar, the ambiguous sequence is automatically generated and the base character for it, it is automatically generated. Even though if we unselect it, it will not allow us this because since it is an automatically generated one, it will give an error information. It's not an error, it will give an alert message that it was automatically generated, so we cannot uh, control it. So if you give that the bubble chart, as you see the bubble chart will have the timer on the top. So is there any question related to this ambiguous sequence?
So, Colleen, you might remember that we discussed with Larry whether we should combine ambiguous sequences and transcription changes, and the
Yes.
decision was made to keep the two separate,
Yes.
so that we could keep, because they had different meanings to the
Right.
user. So this
Right.
is that feature that was requested. We've worked on that feature so that you are allowed to put anything into the ambiguous sequences, and it will keep a separate list from the transcription changes.
Okay. Yeah, this part that how it's functioning is actually is clear. um, we just remind me that we had talked about the fact that this is showing up in the front as a front close vowel because the default isn't the default character in is always the I. But I think we I think we discussed that it is possible somehow to be able to move that this diphthong actually to where it belongs to the back into the back column, isn't it?
Yes,
But
it's
that's
possible.
okay. It's an unrelated issue, so we can talk about that how that might be done later.
Yeah, you would do that by looking under Tools menu and I think distinctive features
Features. Okay, good then. That's fine.
or descriptive. I'm sorry, descriptive features.
Descriptive features.
In the case of the ambiguous sequence with the lexeme form, I think you can choose where you want to place it, by which vowel you choose to include there. Whereas if it is an automatically generated sequence, you have to do it with the descriptive features.
Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. When we get to working more on the help files, those are the kinds of things we'll probably want to include in the help file. Make sure that that's clear how people can do that. Now, the tie bar. I just want to make sure that I understand how the tie bar got there. Was that introduced in the Flex program, the
Yes.
tie bar? Okay. And so she chose the
Pronunciation.
field that was in the Flex. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we had.
Actually, it
We
was
put this.
tie bar was not there in the lexeme form, but the
Right.
tie bar
But
was inside the pronunciation.
But it's there
So
in the
when
Flex and the
we use the
pronunciation.
pronunciation, the tie bar is.
Yeah, so it was just an easy way for us to kind of show the difference between what the presence and absence of the tie bar is. We put it in two separate fields inside Flex.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I understood it clearly.
Good, thank you. Is there one more demo?
I think
Yes, Greg.
Okay.
Karthik is going to do the another demo.
Okay.
It's a short demo, Greg.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to talk about the access play data from Flex audio rating system, Greg. I'm going to show you demo about on ability to access play data from Flex audio rating system, Greg.
Okay. Good.
Here it has the three part. First one is the first one, Greg. When searching for audio rating systems, search should be caseless. So here the filter option, when the user chooses audio file, they're giving value for like begin with somewhere. It can't search the audio file, Greg, because of the problem in the path file, Greg.
Okay.
So the audio visual is in small AUDIO is not working in this path, and also all caps AUDIO also not working in this path, Greg. The problem in the case in the path, Greg.
Okay.
So that one is fixed, Greg.
Okay.
So if you give the search and give apply means you can see the file, Greg.
Okay. Good.
And also second one is can't play audio files from Fieldwork project. I'm using Turkish project, Greg.
Okay.
If the value having audio file means you can hear the audio by clicking this button, Greg.
Okay.
Before it was disabled, Greg.
Okay.
So these two issues are about, Greg. Third one is worked by John, Greg. So I hope he will explain more about that, Greg.
Okay. John, do you want to explain more about the audio file? I think John has joined us. I think the main issue here, good morning, John, and welcome. Okay.
So, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not sure exactly what the question was, but I know I did a change a while back about some problems with playing some of the paths that ended up. I think it was paths that had some Unicode characters in them, and that they kind of underneath we're using a command line to play the audio file, and so the command line is restricted about what characters can actually occur on there.
Okay.
So you end up having to use the um, old DOS names for files in order to play them. But that's
Okay.
that was all it. So for the user's point of view, there's nothing to happen, but down because of the way that the code was implemented.
Okay. And I know too that there was, for a while, the program played it would play the audio file for the pronunciation, but it wouldn't play all of the audio writing system files. But I think now it's playing any field that has an audio writing system the file can play. Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. Of course, I don't think you can put example sentences there, but I mean, any field that could appear as a phonetic field could have an audio writing system, and that audio file will play.
Right.
So, Colleen, do you have any question about this audio playing of audio files?
Well, I don't know really enough about it to even ask a question at this point in time. I think it's something that I would have to have explained to me more in detail.
Okay. Well, I think the basic idea is that, of course, you're looking at the pronunciation and the transcription, and you might, after looking at the charts, say, oh, I don't think it makes sense that the transcription is written that way. I'd sure like to hear what the speaker actually said. So then the idea is you can play the audio file of what the speaker actually said and decide for yourself if you like the way it's been transcribed. I think that's the concept.
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't know how the audio files get there in the first place. I don't know how they're linked or anything of that sort.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's an example with the toolbox, but I don't know if we have a really good flex example with the audio files for all the entries. So that
Okay,
would,
we'll make a note of that for the help files in the future.
right.
I think that in Flex, the way that they used the audio file writing systems, they made it easy to record things directly in Flex. So you can, within the audio file, if you have the audio file writing system set up, then you get a start recording button, and you can just do it right there.
The assumption being that you have your language consultant next to you and you're recording right there, rather than you've been out to the field and you've collected a 1,700 word list and now you're having to slice and dice and.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, which is another way to get it in there, but it's just more work when you have to do it that way because you have to bring up the audio file either in Speech Analyzer or Audacity and chop it up first before you can add the pieces.
Yeah, but it's the reality of many of us field workers that work remotely.
Right, exactly.
Okay, just for clarification, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Colleen, I'm going to do a couple last demos. One is called the ability to make charts for rhymes, onsets, codas, that one. Let me make myself as the presenter. Okay, I'll put this over here somewhere. Can you see my screen?
No, Greg.
Not yet.
Not yet, huh? Okay, let me share the screen then. Okay. How about now? Can you see it now?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So the way this one works is on the distribution charts, we included some default distribution charts. So this data, actually, this is one of the projects that ships with Fieldworks. It's a toolbox project, with Phonology Assistance Toolbox project. So I can show it here first, and then we can move if we want to. But if I click the rhyme chart, it will pull up rhymes. Now rhyme means that it's the vowel with the following consonant. And in this case, there are syllables that end with vowels and syllables that end with double vowels, but no syllables that close with consonants. So not much interesting in terms of rhymes. But if I click on this, as I think they've already demonstrated, I can right-click on it and I can click Show Results in a tab, which would bring the results right here. If I double-click, it will jump over to the search window for that item. And the advantage of having this feature, the biggest advantage of having this feature, is that from the search window we have export options. So we can export this as a Word, RTF file, or XLingPap, or HTML file if we want to include this chart in a, or this as an example in a paper, or perhaps we want to remove certain lines and have it in a paper. We can easily include that information. So that's rhyme. Onset is looking at the consonants that come at the beginning of the syllable. So here's word initial consonants. This would be morpheme initial consonants after a stress mark. I think this is secondary stress. Or these are all different ways of marking primary stress. This is secondary stress, and this is the morpheme, and this is the syllable break. But it's looking for cases. It depends, of course, on how the data has been transcribed. And it was especially for this case that we wanted to be able to delete the columns that weren't, as you see, most of the chart is zeros. So you would want to certainly delete the columns where the user didn't mark syllable breaks and didn't mark morpheme breaks or stress. So none of these matter. So we want to delete those columns. There are no cases with 3 consonants or 4 consonants, so we want to delete those rows. And then we're left with a much simpler chart. So that's onset. Then nucleus is looking at the vowel that occurs in the middle of the syllable. So in this case, we're looking for vowels that make up the entire utterance. And in this case, there are none. Here we have vowels following a consonant, vowels between consonants, and vowels that occur with a consonant following them. And so these are the different cases that you can see quickly what kind of nucleuses you have in your language. And then following this last one is the coda. The coda is what consonants come at the end of a word or syllable or morpheme. And so in this case, we have none. You can see quickly and clearly that there are no consonants coming at the end after a vowel, etc., etc. So that's one of the cases where we've tried to improve the usability of the program by essentially creating some distribution charts that are shipped with the program and make it easy for the user to look at these kind of questions. Another thing in terms of tone studies, after looking at Decoreke and some of the other ones, we added some filters that ship with the program. And so I'll include this in the same, even though it's a different topic. If we look at our corpus, right now we're showing 97 entries. If we want to study tone, we often want to study tone on one syllable. So we created a filter for one syllable. And actually more interesting would be to pick a language. Let me create let me just open this ICPOSO project here that's already been created. The ICPOSO project will have tone patterns for every word, and then when you tell it you want to look at single syllable words, you can see what tone patterns occur on one syllable words, which then gives you a good stab at an initial inventory of tone patterns. So in this case, the tone patterns aren't currently showing, so I will first of all use one of the other features that's already been demoed and add the custom field that has the tone pattern. Oh, actually, it's already showing. It's just not. Sorry, I've used two of the features because I've shut off the surface tone pattern in the options. It's already there. Okay, so from here, if I tell it that I want single syllable words, then it will reload the data, but now with single syllable words. So only words that have a single vowel or vowel. And in that, you can now look down. If you want to, you can click on that column, and it will sort the tone by the tone patterns. And so here are tone ba, which would be low tone, um, and a ba. I'm not sure if this is falling, if the F is for falling, but
Yes, it's a falling low tone.
falling low tone, and this is a low high, right? And so you can see what tone patterns are actually occurring on the words there. So that's the other feature I wanted to demo. If I go to the charts here, just for contrast with a different language, if I look at rhyme, in this case I do have words that consist of a single vowel, 10 of them. And if I look at onset, I have words where single and double consonants are in the onsets. If I look at nucleuses, I have one single vowels only in the nucleus, according to this analysis. And then in codas, I do have some words that end with a single consonant in the coda. So in the onset, we can get one or two consonants, but in the coda, we only get one consonant. So these are the kind of things that you can quickly see with the charts. Do you have any questions, Colleen, about this feature that was requested about having charts for onsets, rhymes, codas, and nucleuses?
It looks very clear to me, and we're trusting that this is meeting the needs of that will meet the needs of those that requested the feature.
Yeah, I think it was primarily in Asia, where they were interested in teaching languages based on rhyme patterns, and so we wanted to be able for them to quickly generate those rhyme patterns.
That's right.
Actually, I think those were the two. Oh, okay. Ability to customize consonants and vowel charts. Okay, so this was your other question, Colleen, and it had to do with the ability to move items on the chart. And so when I brought up the consonant chart for this language, you can see where the GB is happening. The GB has been considered to be bilabial, but you might want to think of it as a velar, right? So this would be, well, I really want that treated as a velar, even though it looks really nice
No,
here.
not a velar, a labial velar.
Okay, a labial velar. Okay, so let me look at this one. So we look at tools, and then we look at descriptive features. And so we would come down here to the GB. And so we would notice that it's being treated as a bilabial. We say, no, I don't want that. I want it treated as a labial velar. And so when I do that change, now it's reading the data. You can see in the lower corner of the screen, perhaps, that there's a progress bar. And now now it's being considered maybe in velar it didn't put it under labial velar, put it under velar. I'm wondering if that's because the velar is also checked.
I believe it is. You have to uncheck the velar.
Yeah, if you want it treated that way. So let me just find it here. Oh, descriptive features. I'm not, so there it is. Okay. Yeah. Yes, and so now you see it's coming in its own column as a labial velar. And yeah, so the charts can be rearranged using that um, descriptive features option on the tool menu. You can pick any particular sound and explain how you want the program to think about it, and it will then, when you put it on the chart, it will put it on the chart based on what you've told it. I think I'm still looking at single syllable words here, so if I turn this to no filter, it'll actually reload the data with all the words. Okay, any other question about this feature?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, I'm wondering. I mean, I thought it was most excellent actually that it wasn't done completely correctly the first time around, because it revealed the fact that it will stick it in an already existing column before it will create a column that is not a part of the default. Okay. So
Yes.
that's very helpful actually to see that that people if they make that mistake, they will see that they have to remember to unclick both the bilabial and the velar part since this is a doubly articulated sound. Now, if I'm wondering, if we went back and we did the KP also, would it then stick both the GB and the KP on the same line row, that is, as the other plosives? If
Okay.
not, why is it creating
You're asking about the KP, right?
yes, why is it creating a discrete row just for the KPs and the
So we don't want it to be considered a bilabial, right?
or a velar?
And it should not be considered a velar. So it should be considered what?
A labial velar.
A labial velar. So let me find that one. HL labial velar.
Okay.
Yes.
So why is this on a separate row rather as on the same row as the rest of the plosives?
Oh, I'm not sure I know the answer to this question. Let me think about it. It's a plosive.
Because it's patterning with the rest of the plosives in the language, so it should be on the same row theoretically, right?
Right.
So there's something, I guess, maybe in the way the code is written that creates a separate row.
Let me see if it's obvious at all. So here's this one. Consonant double closure. Maybe it's because of the double closure. I don't know. It's maybe because of the double closure.
Can we just uncheck it just to see what it might do?
Okay.
Because that would then, that's another one of those things that people can play with until they get the result that they'd like to see in their chart for exporting. Assuming that I can export this consonant chart.
Right, you can export the consonant chart.
Okay.
I can't see the.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, that will do it. Yeah, excellent.
So
Very
yes, if we wanted to finish the job here, we could go also for the GB and then say it shouldn't also be considered a double closure being on its own row. It should be put on the same row as and this will reload. and put them all together.
Right. It would just depend on what the analyst wants to demonstrate
Right.
with his or her consonant chart. Yeah. For example, that's excellent.
And then, like you were saying, if you go here to File Export, you're allowed to export it as either HTML, Word, or XLingPap. So you could put it in your paper.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So that shows anyway how we can rearrange
Yeah.
the charts according, as you said, according as to how the linguist wants it.
Was there any, Greg? Was there any work that was? I mean, somebody had asked something about the exporting of files. Was there anything that was done in that area? I don't remember it at this
Well,
point in time.
I'll tell you what I did in that area. On the thing I wrote on there, ability to export either PXML or the newer LIFT format.
Oh, okay.
I said, well, Flex already exports the newer LIFT format, so there's really nothing for us to do here.
Okay.
Because this data is stored in Flex, not in PA. And since it's stored in Flex, and since Flex can export the newer LIFT format, we don't really need to export the newer LIFT format as well from PA.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. I have I don't know if you know the answer to this, or maybe somebody does. In terms of the files that are exported, you know, the one that's supposedly exported to Word, do you know if when, like, say, this consonant chart, is it being exported as a picture, or is it being exported as something that I can actually edit once it's in Word?
In Word, you fairly certain, well, Word XML.
Does that mean it's an uneditable chart?
Let me try it. I have never done this one, so I've done the RTF one and I've done the HTML one. So let me try this and see what happens. Okay, yeah, it exports as a table. Do you see what?
Then is which yes, which
Can you
is
see
then
my screen?
I can, which is now editable. You can edit it, in other words.
You see, I can select this row. I can say, well, I don't want that row. I
Right.
can say delete row. It's gone.
Okay, excellent. That's very, very, very good.
So I've
Because
got everything turned on. If it will look a little nicer if I shut off all those little extra symbols.
mhm.
So that's kind of how it should look right now. And yes, you can then you can edit it as you choose. If I do the print preview, you'll see that the lines may only, yeah, the lines are only there on the.
Right. So
Can you
there's
see that?
yeah,
I can make it a little bigger.
there's ability for the analyst then to customize his chart then if he wants lines or doesn't want lines or
Lines, or if he wants to put one cell in a particular color, you know, might put some background on a cell and say, because he's trying to talk about the post-alveolar affricates, so he wants those highlighted in yellow. He can do that. Yeah, any
Excellent.
of that.
That's great. That's good. Yeah, I like it.
So that's one of the features I particularly like about PA over like Decoreke, which doesn't do the exporting of charts at all, as far as I know. So this is much more useful for the linguist who wants to be publishing papers.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's great because it's like, you know, if the charts are fixed, then you can't move them around. You can't move things around or highlight or do whatever you want to with it. Or, you know, you're wanting to do, you just want to grab a chart, you know, then you can go to your PA program, grab a chart, and then you don't have to create the chart yourself within your paper. You can customize it once it's over there.
Exactly, yes. Good. Okay. Well, I think we've covered all of the features that were in, like you were saying, the main thing that Marlon's not necessarily here to defend himself, but one of the things that Marlon did for us, which was a huge thing that is not included in the list of things that was on the charter, is he converted the help file from the old one, which was talking about version 3.0 of the program, to the new one. And so now it talks about filters and it talks about everything that the program can actually do. So the help file is much more up to date than it was before, and I think it covers almost all the features. So the only one we haven't obviously added was reset, but yeah, as I said, I think it's not a big feature, and we'll have to see if the testing team or anyone else identifies any bugs, major bugs in the program, which would justify us building a new a new candidate. But right now we have the 3.5.0 release candidate, which is up on the build server, and the testing team and others, we hope will be able to, Colleen, if you have other people that you would want to be alpha testers, it'd be very nice if they could begin alpha testing on this 3.5.0 version, and any of these features that they have comment on or clarification on, it would be helpful for them to give us this feedback. While it's still fresh in our minds and familiar, we could make some changes if necessary.
Okay, so the reset button is going to be added into 3.5?
We could add it into 3.5.1 if we want to, yeah. But the 3.5.0 doesn't have the reset button, but has all the other features that you see demoed today.
Okay, so that would be then in point 1.
That would be in a 0.1 type release, yeah.
Okay, well, when are you through with the rest of the team, or you need to talk to them for a while?
No, we've probably done. I can stop the broadcast on the demos if you want. And is it ready? Are we ready to stop the broadcast? We're actually recording these demos, so we've recorded all this. This recording can be. We can send a link of this to anyone who wants to be an alpha tester, so that they will have all this information when they do their testing.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Any other comments that should go on the broadcast?
No, great.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Not from us too.
Okay. Let me bring up this. Let me take myself off as the. Oh, I'm gonna close this and take myself. Okay.